What's up, you guys? We are at Zilker Park in Austin, and Tristan and I are going to be asking some questions. If you want to see what questions he's asking, you can head over to his channel. But today I'm going to be asking questions about religion and sexuality. So let's get started.
Yeah, of course.
A million.
Yeah. What ones would you say?
Like the voice stereotype?
Oh, the voice.
I guess just like the idea that it's a choice.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine there would be, because if like the LGBTQ is being discriminated against so much, then there have to be like stereotypes like that.
There used to be one that they weren't family oriented. I think that's changed. There used to be one that everybody was a closet drag queen. I think that's changed.
I feel like a lot of people do stereotype those type of people, but as far as for me, like, I don't judge anyone, you know?
Of course. I mean, there are a lot of stereotypes towards every class of LGBTQ group. I mean, there are unfair stereotypes towards gay men about how they should act, what they should do. There are lesbians should always be dykes, especially how all these groups look. I mean, we queer people, we look like all people, you know? We are so many people.
Yes, I do think there are. I think a lot of the stereotypes, though, are pretty ridiculous, and people kind of realize they're stereotypes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there are definitely like unfair stereotypes for sure. Like a lot of people assume that LGBT community kind of like wants to overstep like heterosexual normalities, Disney movies and stuff like that. Nobody's trying to take anything over. And
We just want to have a place in the world too, right?
like everybody kind of deserves to have their own story.
Oh, absolutely. I think that everybody feels like if you're like gay or whatever, then you're automatically a sinner and you're just like a piece of shit, when that's not really how it is, you know, like to each is their own, you know, like nobody cares. Live your life.
Do you feel like there's any unfair stereotypes about Christians?
No.
Historically, Christians aren't like discriminated against, but I guess if there were, it'd be like thinking that like they're very like strict about certain stuff. I don't know if that makes sense, but like
No, totally. Like people making assumptions about what they think is okay and what's not.
yeah, because like that varies within like different types of Christianity, and even like within the same types, like different people in a certain like section of it aren't going to necessarily believe all the same things.
Jehovah's Witnesses are like really pushy about it. Well, not all are. I've known Jehovah's Witnesses in the past. Yeah, like opinions that Christians will end up having. So people typically assume that most Christians are going to be really conservative. But I mean, I'm a Christian and I don't have a lot of really conservative opinions because like it was the way I was raised, and I think everyone's relationship with God and the Bible is their own.
I don't know. They might all be pretty accurate in my experience.
Pedophilia. You know, you can't go on dates on Wednesday nights.
Is that a thing? Oh, okay.
Yes, all religions. I think all religions, people tend to be focused on the tribalism aspect of the religion or the exclusionary side of the religions rather than the inclusive side. You know, if you don't believe what I believe, you go to hell, that kind of stuff.
I come from a really religious background, and I mean, I think you could say that about anybody or any group of people. I tend to have probably some unfair stereotypes of Christians in my head just because of my background. My dad's a pastor, and I think an unfair stereotype towards pastors is how they handle their money. And, you know, I think there are a lot of pastors who aren't really for the Lord, and they're probably, and I'm a non-believer, just clarifying, there are a lot of pastors out there who do struggle with money, and there's some who treat it unfairly.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up Christian. I went to a private Christian school my whole life, and I think that there is an unfair stereotype that Christians are all really judgmental. Some of them are. But the stereotype that they're all unkind, because a lot of my family is still religious and Christian, and they are very much kind and very welcoming of all my life decisions. So
There are, just because like in the past there are a lot of significant churches and stuff that have made a bad name for different Christianity, thinking immediately that you're going to be judged no matter what, and then you go into a church and you find out that like, oh, these people aren't judgmental, like they don't give a crap. about anything. Like, they just love people, and that's all that matters.
So it depends on the Christian. Yeah, what do you guys think about religious people?
Just know that there's something out there. I just move my feet every day, bro. Honestly. And that dude up there or somebody up there, like my grandpa.
Oh yeah, I believe in God.
Somebody making sure I eat every day, dude.
I mean, I think that people also obviously think they're like Bible thumpers or against abortion and, you know, all these other things. But realistically, there are some of them that do believe in those things.
Do you feel like somebody can be both Christian and LGBTQ?
Sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, anybody could believe in whatever they want to believe, and it doesn't matter like the type of person that you are, you know?
I think it's possible. I've always struggled with the idea of, like, personally, I think it would be very hard because the type of Christianity that I was surrounded with was very, very much against, you know, our love. I think there are people who are out there and they have a much better heart that isn't as bitter as mine.
Are you a part of either of these groups? You said you're not Christian. Are you LGBTQ?
Not a Christian. I am.
So we are too.
I love it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a thing. Personally, myself, I'm not. I do know people that are in the community and that are also avid Christians and are really big parts of their churches. They don't try to block any part of their life out to separate those two things. They kind of just put them together and then try to make the best out of it so that they can kind of open everyone's eyes up to those things.
So I have some friends that are definitely both, you know, and I don't hate on them. And I think the hardest part for them is telling their parents and their parents accepting them. Old heads are starting to get that, you know, because our generation is starting to realize, like, it doesn't matter. You can't change who people are. Love is love. You can't shun them or get rid of them because they have a different belief than you or you have a different belief than them.
You don't usually go up to somebody that you don't know and ask them about sexuality or religion. Those are kind of taboo topics in a lot of ways. The point of this video was not to tell you guys what to believe or what not to believe. I just wanted to know what stereotypes were out there and what people thought about them. I'm just surprised usually how open-minded people are when you get to know them. Interviewing these people kind of showed me that. The homeless man that we interviewed, him talking about how he just knows that somebody's looking out for him was very surprising to me because he feels like that he's being well taken care of and he doesn't have a home or like consistent food or income. I mean, how many of us are better off and don't feel that way? Perspective is just so interesting to me. All right, thank you guys so much for watching and we'll catch you next time.